So there's something happening with Magic the Gathering, and I'm not sure if everybody can see it. Dragon folk, welcome on in to today's little dumb ranty video about stuff that I'm seeing. Today's topic is actually going to be pretty short and sweet. It's going to be about Baldur's Gate, right? Not the game. You all know why this channel exists. Magic the Gathering, the new set, Battle for Baldur's Gate. Commander Legends, Battle for Baldur's Gate. This is a set that is curated to Commander specifically, and a lot of good support supposed to be made for it, right? There's a dragon cycle in this deck. These 5 mythic dragons, or is it 6? I think it's only 5. These mythic dragons seem to be so incredibly powerful and sought after that they're going for, at pre-release right now, like $30 and up. I think like the lowest one is like $20 maybe. But those are for like the basic arts, right? When you're talking like the borderless arts or the showcase arts, a lot of people are very, very, I don't know, they're getting pretty crazy about them, right? And now I have the fantastic pleasure of watching a bunch of YouTube videos. And in that time, I've watched a lot of different YouTubers go through and open up all the different kinds of booster boxes for Battle for Baldur's Gate. For the record, I'm probably just going to be considering that whole thing just Baldur's Gate from this point forward, so don't get confused. See, even Snicklefritz down here knows. There's something that's happening with Battle for Baldur's Gate that I'm not sure everybody's witnessing. And hopefully people are seeing it and they're not seeing it. Or they're not seeing it. I'm indecisive. I'm indifferent to Battle for Baldur's Gate. Do I think that it's got some of the most powerful cards that Commander has ever seen? No. I think the only cards that I can think of that are so incredibly necessary for Commander are cards like what is it? Black Market Connections, and that one white card that allows you to draw, or that allows you to gain life every time your opponent draws. I think that's how that works. Or you draw a card every time your opponent gains life. I can't remember how it is. You guys know which one I'm talking about. I think those 2 cards alone are pretty insanely powerful. But do I think the dragons are super powerful? I think they have a place in a 5-color dragon deck, or even like a Jund Treasures dragon deck, or a Rakdos Treasure deck, specifically for the Copper Dragon. And because the Copper Dragon is like the big one, right? Whatever it is, you whenever you deal damage, or whenever you attack, or whenever you deal whenever you deal combat damage to a player, you roll a d20, and then you create that many treasure tokens. So the opportunity for you to essentially gain 20 mana, or at least, I mean, even the odds of it being a 50-50 chance, right? Of, you got 10 and up. Even just getting 10 treasures on one hit, pretty crazy, right? We already saw that kind of stuff with Old Gnawbone, where whenever he deals damage to an opponent, you can make that many treasures based on the damage that was dealt. So he's a 7/7, I think. So he would at least get 7 treasures if he deals damage, which is crazy. So kind of something to think about in regards to that. But this is where I'm kind of held off, right? Do I see the cards that could be worth something? Yes. Do I think that you have to take this from 2 different levels, right? You have to take this from 2 different levels. You have to show whether or not you're a player and also somebody who just likes to enjoy the game for fun, or you're a collector. Those are the two that are mainly what we look at here. Because players, right, might want to draft. Players and people who just enjoy the theme of stuff, who are like just getting into Magic the Gathering. Which, speaking of, there is a Magic the Gathering for Beginners Facebook page I'm a part of. You definitely should check them out. A lot of fantastic people there looking to help out anybody with any of their questions. We're growing by the minute, so it's good. But what I'm saying here is that if you're a player and somebody who just is like, I don't know, not tainted by the pasts of Wizards of the Coast, Battle for Baldur's Gate is, a product that you might not like or you might like, right? The draft experience, I'm sure, is fantastic, right? Draft packs now have 20 cards in them as opposed to the original 15. So that is crazy. You definitely get, you're able to have a better chance at making a commander deck for that, because you have to have a 60 card commander deck for commander draft as opposed to a 40 card deck for standard drafts. So from the draft perspective, I think it's a fantastic set. There's a lot of stuff to draft from it. And there's a lot of legendary creatures and legendary enchantments with the backgrounds and everything. I think it's a really, really well done set. If you keep it limited, right? If you take it outside anywhere from the limited format, it kind of falls off, right? And I'm sure I'm just not big brain enough to think about what there is for it, right? I'm not one to know what it will pair with a card from Shards of Alara. Like, I don't even know cards from Shards of Alara. Like, when it comes to Commander, I don't know much about a lot of the older cards that are meta, that are put into decks. But what I can say is that if the prices will probably all continue to tank throughout this time and after release of Commander, of Baldur's Gate, strictly because it's once again inflated. But from a limited standpoint in draft, and maybe even sealed, right? It's a fantastic set, right? You get to have fun with it. It's built in its own world of Dungeons and Dragons. You have a way to essentially make your commander its own personal hero. I almost like to kind of view it like Flesh and Blood, right? How Flesh and Blood, you have like equipment, and you can equip that equipment to your hero, and so on and so forth. This is kind of a way for you to get a legendary creature and then equip it with a background, which is just a legendary enchantment, which of course can still be destroyed, but it's kind of a way to make it a little bit more personal, right? A fun idea for drafting, absolutely. If you're somebody who just likes to open packs and just have a fun time opening them, there's a lot of different variety in the packs. If you're just somebody who likes to open packs and likes to hang out and check out to see what a set entails, set booster boxes seem to be a huge thing in which people are enjoying a lot, right? You get the list, which is back up to 300 cards in the list. So stuff is probably going to be increasing in price again, since it's not going to be so widely... Well, I mean, Streets of New Capenna is still being printed, so like, it's only a matter of time before stuff goes down more. But anyway, you get the general idea of it. It's back to 300. There's more cards in the list for us to choose from. The Secret Lair cards are still in the list, though, so those are not specific to New Capenna. They are going to be in Battle for Baldur's Gate set boosters, so that is unfortunate. I thought that was going to stay specifically for New Capenna, but it isn't. Not the end of the world. And then, of course, collector boxes, if you have the money for it, it's available. But I think a lot of what I'm seeing here is this specific issue, right? There are a lot of videos that I've watched on openings for collector boxes, set booster boxes, draft booster boxes. All the stores are getting them, and everybody every YouTuber who's affiliated with an LCS gets the opportunity to open these things on their channel first before everybody else actually has an opportunity to buy them and own them, right? What I've noticed is that the mythics, there's first and foremost, the mythics are, I think there's only, 22 mythics? Let me just check. So according to TCG Player, there are 45 mythics, and I believe 20 of them are all from the precons. So if you don't count the precon cards, there's about 25-ish, probably a little bit less, mythics in the set. And while there are an abundance of rares, the collector booster packs come with 6 rares. And of course, every now and again could be a mythic in there. But this is the point I'm trying to make here, right? Without getting too much longer into this, right? What I'm noticing is that we as Magic players, maybe not all of us, but a good portion of us probably, we're really used to getting those hot hits often, all the time, forever. We keep it going. We keep getting the hits. We keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And, you expect a good card out of every set booster box or every set booster pack. You expect a good card out of every collector booster pack. Draft booster packs have been for drafting, and those are kind of weaning themselves out of the system. But set and collector boosters, you were practically guaranteed to get something super amazing, right? Now, I wasn't playing before Zendikar Rising, so I don't know what the original pull rates are for things like Amonkhet or Ravnica, City of Guilds, or Ice Age, or Urza Saga, right? All of these things, when they had something special, it was hard to find, right? I guess we're not really talking so much. We'll start with Shards of Alara and forward, because those were mythics, right? Specifically talking about mythics. Something I'm noticing with all of these sets in Baldur's Gate is that the mythic pull rate is so incredibly low, and nobody seems to be excited for that, I think. And that's kind of the difference. Everybody gets their foil rares and their foil etched rares and their legendary creatures and their commanders and so on and so forth. But the actual money mythics seem to be nowhere. Sometimes you can get lucky, right? I've seen a couple draft booster box openings that are 2 mythics in a pack, which is crazy. But if you compare the amount of cards that you're getting to the amount of mythics you're getting, it's significantly lower, right? Not only did they reduce the count of cards in the boxes, or they reduced the amount of packs in the boxes, I should say. 24 packs in a draft booster box as opposed to 36. Even though they increased the card count to 20 cards per pack, you're still getting less and paying the same. Set booster boxes, same concept. You get 15 cards per pack now, so they increase the amount of cards in the pack by 3. But you now only have 18 packs in a set booster box as opposed to 30. The only thing that has yet to change is the collector booster boxes for this, which are astronomically high, sitting at around $250 or something for one right now. I shouldn't say astronomically high. They normally go for about $200 right out the bat. But $250 right out the gate. I have yet to see a collector booster box opening that has been profitable right now. Because the mythic slot is where all the money is, and nobody can pull mythics. And that's where I think we've come to a weird understanding, or not an understanding, a revelation of sorts, right? I feel like this is a set that if you're a collector, you'd want to collect it, right? Missing out on a set just because you don't like it is a dumb mentality. And even if you just buy a case for yourself, you're still sitting on a position, which is still worth it. But the only downside to that, right, is that you don't know where it's going to go, right? Obviously, if you're a collector, or not a collector so much more as a investor, a case is not too bad. You can buy a case of the set booster boxes for $600 right now, and that's not so bad considering you get 6 of them at $100 a piece pretty much. Well, like probably like 105 after taxes. And you can just sit on them, right? This very well could be a set that's so crazy later on in life that people are going to go, whoa, I can't believe that's a thing. Or more importantly, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to at least buy a couple draft booster boxes, because if this is truly a fantastic draft experience, I would imagine a lot of players will want to relive this in the future. And because they'd want to relive it, it makes more sense for you to keep those, because you can sell them to people later. Or you can just open them and play with your friends, right? But the collector booster boxes seem to be a problem because they're really, really high. And there's not many mythics to pull. And because you're just getting a bunch of these rares, even if they're in their foil etched versions or their borderless versions or their extended art versions or whatever, the need to have a collector booster box is not as crazy. The set booster boxes, you can get the borderless forms of the mythic dragons in there as well, so there's no real need for you to get a collector booster box, other than the fact that your odds might be a little bit better. But even still, if they've really lowered the mythic pull rate, it's a chase either way. And if it's a chase either way, there's no telling what's going to happen, right? So that's kind of my 2 cents. Back in the day, it was really, really hard to pull a mythic. Or it was, you were excited when you pulled a mythic or a foil, right? You were excited. You were like, oh my gosh, this is the craziest day of my life. This card is going to go right into a sleeve, and I'm going to go put it in a top loader, and I'm going to display it for the world to see. But now we get drip fed. Not even drip fed. We gorge ourselves on foils and different, styles of cards, and the amount of rares and mythics that we get in a pack, that it seems like it's not as special when you pull them, right? I'm sure, tons of other YouTubers on TCGs have made this exact argument. But that's kind of the thing I'm seeing with this, is that if the mythic pull rate is less on this new set, and there's less cards in a box, that means that your odds of pulling a mythic are even less because of that. So that will make these mythics very, very sought after in the future, probably, depending on how many we actually get to market. But the thing is also, this is another set that a lot of people are saying people shouldn't buy. Most of the market is very, very upset with the set. They think it's not powerful. They think the only thing that matters is the dragons, and the fact that it's a commander set, you only need to buy one of each dragon. If you buy one of each dragon, you don't have to search for any cards. If you don't have to search for any cards, you don't have to crack packs, you don't have to do any of that. You just have your dragon, put it in your deck, and that's it, right? Commander's a singleton format. You don't need a playset of 4 of these ancient copper dragons. You don't need that. And that's kind of where the concept is that I think a lot of people are going to just be buying singles from this set. I don't believe the boxes are going to be purchased a lot. I imagine LCSs and LGSs are going to be opening them a lot and, displaying them for people to buy, and, having draft nights and having, sealed cube nights or whatever they do. But I don't believe the populace, the secondary market people like myself, are going to open up too many, right? YouTubers are going to probably open them for kicks. I like to open these things just so I can show everybody what it's like to open them and what's in them. And then I get to keep whatever singles that are in there, right? Or I get to sell them on our TCG Player store. But that's kind of my 2 cents on this matter, right? A lot of people aren't seeing that the Mythic pull rate is down, and I, for one, am excited about that because it almost makes me want to open the boxes to chase stuff, right? I mean, it's the same deal with Kamigawa collector boxes, right? Everybody's after those Hitotsugus, the Neon Inks. Everybody's after them, and that is a chase, right? Those are chase cards. But in this rate, you maybe get 1 to 2 mythics a box, and it's really, really rare. So you may get, a boatload of rares, but that just means that the rares will go for cheaper. So you can just buy them as singles for like 50 cents and not have to go searching through a box, right? I think that the moral of the story here, guys, buy singles. That's just kind of the concept to me. If I'm a player, right, and I play every now and again, but I don't personally play paper right now. If I were to play in paper, I would buy singles, right? If I were to collect the card, if I was a collector of dragons, right, of just dragon cards, I'd buy singles. If I, wanted to make a kooky legendary background deck, those are things you can do. But, like, other than that, opening the boxes, just get the cards out to the market. It's not like a flipping thing, right? So when you buy a collector booster box and that collector booster box doesn't actually pay for itself, you're going to be very upset. And you're going to think that it's Wizards of the Coast's fault for making such a garbage product that you're only getting like half the EV that you'd expect out of a collector booster box, which is supposed to have 6 rares in it and a whole bunch of different other stuff and extended arts and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you have less cards. And the more the mythic slot is so much harder to hit now that I'd imagine a lot of old Magic players who like that chase are going to be very happy with it. But we also live in a time where you can just buy the singles. So why chase after it, Ancient Copper Dragon is not going to go for, $300 at all. Unless we find out that they only printed like 500 of every dragon. And at that point, right, like that's different. But I think the real thing here is that people need to see that the mythic pull rate is significantly less in this because there are less cards to be pulled, because there are less packs, and there are less mythics that actually matter, I should say, because most of the mythics you can get from buying the Commander Precon decks, and if you buy all 4 of the Commander Precon decks for like $150, would I just make a video on that? $150, you've gotten most of the mythics, and you have actual decks with crazy reprints in them. So at the end of the day, it's a hard thing to do, right? I would like to still keep some sealed. I'm probably only going to keep draft sealed. I'll probably open set, but I'll keep draft sealed because I feel like at some point, right, if I get a group of friends later on in the future that actually want to like play Magic and do a draft, that would be fun. That would be a fun thing to draft. And I would like to have that. It's the same reason I have my Time Spiral Remastered box. So I can eventually crack it and have a draft. Right? So that's my 2 cents in the matter. This is a longer video than I expected it to be. It also probably looks like I was staring off into space half the time, but that's just because I don't know where to look. I'm looking at myself talk, and I'm looking at the camera right now, and, I just kind of wanted to get my word out, right? It's one of those things. I was sitting at work all day, and I was thinking about this exact thing, and I was like, well, you know what? I don't think people are quite seeing this happen. And a lot of new players and a lot of newer players, right? Players that started around the same time as me, like 2020, right? All these players that started up a hobby just because COVID was happening, they're realizing that this isn't how it always is supposed to be. You're not always supposed to be fed these cards, these foils, and these rares, and these, extended arts and borderless cards, and so on and so forth. It's supposed to feel good when you pull something like that, right? It's gambling 101. Like, that's how you do this. But at the end of the day, buy a set booster box, have fun with it, check it out. Buy a draft booster box if you want to draft. Don't buy a collector booster box, and if you have the patience, wait about a month and buy singles, because they will drastically go down in price, because everybody who you think is not going to be opening this set will be opening this set, and there will be cards on the market, and they will go down in price. But the only downside is that after all that happens, we have a shortage of booster boxes and distributors. So it's going to be a wild time. If you are going to buy a box, right, you can sit on those boxes and then sell them. I'll get into that's a different topic. This has already been a long enough video. Anyway, that's how I feel about Commander Legends, Battle for Baldur's Gate. And it's kind of the state of Magic right now. I'm not sure if people are witnessing this. Let me know in the comments down below if you also are seeing this kind of concept, because I want to know whether or not I'm just the crazy one, or maybe I've just not watched the correct videos. I'm sure it's not the case everywhere, but like statistically, you're supposed to get some pretty good pulls, because Wizards of the Coast likes to give that stuff out, and now nobody's getting them. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel as well. For more of these dumb conversation topics, I just kind of like to look at the market and look at the world and view everything from an outside perspective, and then kind of give my 2 cents to the matter and see how many people agree with me. But we kind of go from there. So again, thank you so much. We do also have a Patreon link down in the description below if you did want to support me there as well. We're hoping to do some box breaks and box battles and giveaways and so on and so forth, as long as you're a patron. And hey, you can start for as low as $2 a month. So $2 a month, pretty good. But of course, if you can't do that, that's totally fine. Just subscribing to the channel down here means enough to me. So thank you again. Please make sure to drink your water, eat your vegetables, and do not buy Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate collector boxes. And I will see you all in the next video. All right, everybody. Nerd out.